Here we have the LK7530i. This is our 75-inch version. We currently have this available in 75-inch, 86-inch, and 98-inch. These are the latest 4K UHD panels. They have all of the latest hardware performance and speeds and feeds. We're not going to get into all of the details. We have a spec sheet that you can check out. What I want to do is show you the basic operation, basic functionality, and those things that set us apart and make us differently. So first of all, let me just show you the home screen. This is the landing page when you open up, what you will see, and you'll notice that we have icons for different sections of operation, including NovoConnect. This is our biggest differentiator, which is all about wireless collaboration and connecting devices to the screen without having to plug any wires in. We have operation modes for both education and for corporate. We're going to start off by focusing on the education application, and let me walk you through some of the other functionality first. In addition to NovoConnect, built into it natively is a browser. So we have a web browser that's built in without connecting any devices. You can go right onto the internet and you can surf the web and do whatever you need to do on the internet. In addition to that, we have a built-in whiteboard. The whiteboard is very simple to use. It's somewhat basic in its functionality, but it's also very capable. It has the ability for you to customize the background. You can choose a color for your background, or you can choose an image for your background, as I've done here, as if we're in a music class. When you write on the board, you have the ability to customize your pen or your marker or paintbrush. You can change the size of it, the color of it, etc. And then we also have the ability to annotate and draw with up to 10 fingers at a time. And we also have included with the system some basic styluses, which really make drawing and writing much simpler and easier. It's much more natural when you use the stylus. The whiteboard has the ability to operate completely independently without having any connected devices. And then you can save this into a folder structure that's built into the system, and you can access that later at your convenience, share it with people, put it on your network. Another basic functionality is input selection. Right through the touch, we can operate all the functionality of the unit in terms of choosing the inputs, making audio and video adjustments. Here you can see we have a number of inputs that we can select from, whether it's the built-in NovoTouch functionality for NovoConnect or HDMI, DisplayPort, and analog inputs as well. You can also access the internal file browser system right from the main page there as well. And we can always go back to home right from a little pop-up over here. And then the last thing I want to show you quickly is the Vivitek application store. This is built in and gives you access to a variety of applications that have been vetted to be used with NovoTouch, with the operating system that's built in, which is all based on Android. Anything that's available on the Google Play Store or the Vivitek application portal, you can add to this and customize it to your needs. So for example, if you wanted to add YouTube to this, that would be a very simple thing that you could do, and you could just play YouTube directly through this without having to have any other devices connected to it. You can get to other applications over here, and here you can see we've installed a handful of other selections, including YouTube. So you could choose YouTube. It'll take you right to YouTube, and if you wanted to play the latest 4K video, you can select that right in YouTube and play it right back. So let's talk about what really sets this product apart, and that is the inclusion of our NovoConnect technology. NovoConnect is Vivitek's wireless collaboration solution. We have a variety of devices that are available that work with NovoConnect in the NovoConnect family. We've been doing this for about 5 years now, and this is our latest generation, 4th generation product. Included in the panel is a OPS module, and this module contains the advanced Android and wireless collaboration, which is what I'm going to show you now, and that allows us to connect a variety of devices wirelessly to the panel. The software is free. There's no license charges, and it doesn't require any accessories to be added to your device in order to wirelessly display. We work with all platforms: Mac, PC, iOS, Android, and Chromebook. And all you have to do is connect to the Wi-Fi and have a proper network setup, and you can show your device up on screen. So I'm going to demonstrate how that works. Currently, we are set up in the education operation mode. You can see on screen we've got some math annotation there that gives us a clue that we're in the education mode. And in the education mode, we always put the teacher in charge. We think that that's an important thing. So I'm going to start off with my PC, and I'm going to connect to that, to the screen, and we're going to display my screen. So I open up a applet on my computer that I've pre-installed, and I just click on Connect. And when I do that, the screen of my PC is now shown up on screen. And as you can see, there's no wires here. So this is running completely wirelessly. This really frees up the teacher to walk around the room, especially if they have a touch-enabled device like a Microsoft Surface, for example. And I'll show you how an iPad comes into that equation as well. And as I said, we support both Mac, PC, iOS, Android, and Chromebook, so any variety of devices can be connected. We also have the ability, in addition to displaying one device at a time, I'm going to go over here and connect my Mac. I'll bring that into the picture as well. And so I've got a Mac that is also connected, doing the same thing, two different things at a time. And I'm going to act as the teacher here, and with that, I'm going to choose to put my device in one of the corners. So we can show 4 things at a time. We can have 4 different screens up here. You could have 4 different student devices. And I'm going to look at the list of connected devices, and I'm going to choose to preview the screen first, because we always give the teacher the ability to preview the screen before they show what's on a student device. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to choose to put this down in the 3rd quadrant there. So here you can see an example of how we've begun to do a 4-way layout. This gives you the ability to compare work that different students are doing. You also have the ability to control this without displaying your screen as a teacher. So now that I'm back to showing my screen full, let me show you some of the additional functionality. So let's say, for example, I was doing a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to open up my PowerPoint and just run this from the current slide. And you'll notice that I've been doing that by touching my PC. Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this aside, and I'm just going to go to the panel, because the panel gives me full touch capability of my computer, which is now sitting over there. I don't need to use my computer at all. Just want to make sure that I'm in touch mode, and now I can run my computer completely from the screen, just using my finger or the stylus. From this little pop-up here, I can choose to either annotate or to do touch. And so let me demonstrate that for you as well. I'm going to take the touch, and I can annotate here, and I can show you how we have the latest performance capabilities, etc. And I want to share that with all of the students that are in my class, or in the case of a corporate meeting, all the meeting participants. And instead of saving that and then having to email it to everyone, it's very simple. I simply hit share, send a snapshot to all, and then all of the connected devices, whether it's an iPad or a Chromebook or another computer, will receive the snapshot of the screen. Okay, so let me show you how a teacher would use this, for example. So I've got my PC connected. I'm showing my screen. As you can see, there's no wires whatsoever. So this is, this frees up the teacher to walk around the room, to do touch operation from the device, or to touch and operate from up here. So I want to show you how I can fully operate my connected computer without having any wires connected to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make sure that I'm in touch mode here, which I am. From there, I'm going to prepare for students to arrive. So I'm going to show this QR code, and in the case of students that have iPads, for example, we have a QR code reader that's built in, and you simply walk in, you point that at the screen, you read the QR code and it connects, and now you're part of the session. So it's very simple for students to connect, mobile devices to connect, phones, tablets. And when you do this, we can set it up so that that registers the student as being in attendance in the class. So that's a nice little feature. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. And as the teacher, I want to open up a presentation. I can touch on the screen and open up a presentation that I've been working on. This happens to be what we're talking about here, but I'm going to use this to show you some functionality. While I'm going through, I can click through slides. I could also annotate, for example. So I choose a pen, and now I can make highlights about the things that we're talking about. The product details, all of these bullet points that we have here. I can draw nice smiley faces if we want to do that. I'm not the greatest artist, but there's lots of creativity that you can get into. And of course, with the stylus, it makes writing very smooth and simple. In many other systems, if you wanted to capture what work or annotation that you've been doing on screen and send it to everybody, you'd have to save it and then email it to everyone. With NovoConnect, it's very simple. All I do is simply hit this center button and then choose Send Snapshot to All. And now it takes all of the work that we've done on screen and it sends it to all of the connected devices in the room, in the class, in the meeting room, and everyone receives that. In addition to annotations, we can also send files. So homework assignments or handouts for a meeting. It makes it very simple to distribute information to the group that you're presenting to. All right, so another important element of how we work in the classroom is that the teacher always has visibility for all of the devices that are connected. And let's say that I wanted to show my iPad. I click here and it gives me a preview of what's on my iPad at that moment. And here you can see that that's exactly what's on my iPad. It's shown there. And then as the teacher, I can say, okay, I want to see your presentation, and I can take that and I can choose to put that up full screen. Just like that, the student is presenting their work. Another really cool functionality of the mobile device, and let me just change this real fast here. I'm going to put my PC back to full screen as the teacher, is that a student can use their mobile device to annotate up on the screen. So here I've chosen a functionality called AirNote. And AirNote, as you can see, duplicates the screen onto my mobile device. And then from here, I can draw on my screen, and it shows up at the front of the room, and that can also be shared with all of the participants and students in the class. So it makes it really easy to interact and have a very engaging presentation with your students. Another element that is really important and differentiates NovoConnect from other wireless collaboration solutions is how we handle video playback. Playing back video wirelessly is something that folks always ask me about, and it's one of the biggest challenges in a wireless collaboration environment. When we take a video file and we play it on a laptop, typically we might be pulling that across the network. We then decompress that through the codecs built into our computer. We render it on the computer. Then our software captures frame by frame what's shown on your screen, recompresses it, sends it back across Wi-Fi, and then the panel pulls it back over Wi-Fi once again and then re-renders it. As you can imagine, that's a bunch of steps, and it can create bottlenecks. And in a perfect world with a perfect network, with no interference and no other network traffic, we can get an excellent result like other companies can as well. But we know we don't live in a perfect world, and so we've created a solution that gives you ideal playback of video files up to 1080p, 60 frames per second, without any compromise whatsoever. Let me show you how that works. So instead of choosing to play the file on my laptop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose which file it is that I want to play. So I simply open up our video player, and from there it's going to allow me to choose either a file that lives on my laptop, on the network, or on the internet. And in this case, I'm just going to choose a file that I have on my laptop. I'm going to pick a file from my file browser. I've got a little demo clip here. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to hit play. Now, when I do that, you'll notice that it doesn't play on my laptop. Instead, it only plays on the screen. And when it does that, you get full, perfect audio-video synchronization with 1080p 60 frames per second performance. This is a major differentiator in how NovoConnect technology works compared to our competitors. Other functionality that we have built into our little applet screen is to allow for voting and quizzing. You can create quizzes and then execute them, and then they pop up on all of the connected devices, at which point you can provide answers, yes, no, true, false, multiple choice, and there's a very interactive process that can display those answers, display the right answer, show who answered what, and the teacher has full control over that process. We have the video player, we have the ability to share, as I demonstrated, sharing annotations. We can also share files, so I can choose to pick a file, go in, choose my handout, and then send that out to the class, for example. We also have an additional application. It's called Novo Screen Note. Novo Screen Note is what enables full capture of audio and video with a microphone, and all of your slides, all of your annotations for an entire presentation. You can then capture that, save it, and email it to someone who wasn't present in the presentation, for example. If you have a student who's absent, you can fill them in on your presentation, or you can document it for long-term storage for reference. We also have the ability to lock the mobile devices so that they can't interact. And also at the end, we can simply hit terminate session, and then that disconnects everybody from the session, ends the class. We then generate a new PIN number. Everyone can go on their way, change classes. New class comes in. It's now time to connect, and we have a new PIN number that we connect with and a new fresh session. What you're seeing now is the home screen of NovoConnect. And you'll notice that there are some slides that are changing here. One is from my presentation. I saved that as an image file and customized this desktop. This is a really cool, neat functionality that we have. You can actually click through these different slides. And here, for example, I've done one for my local school district to show, just to customize how to connect. And this is something that is configured by the IT team. We have a piece of software called Remote Manager that allows the technical team to fully manage these devices on the network, to configure their firmware, their setup, their networking, etc. And part of that is customizing this window on the screen. This window can show images, it can show full motion video, or it can even be pointed to an IP video stream, and you could stream morning announcements, for example, from the high school TV production studio to all classes in the entire campus or in the entire school district. It's a very simple functionality that's built into the desktop of this. In addition, we can also customize the setup of the desktop. We can hide the session information, hide the QR code, make that a window go larger. At that point, we're no longer showing the connectivity IP addresses, but we can also set it up so you can just connect with a friendly name, Classroom 101, for example, and the students will connect very simply without having to have anything showing up on the screen. That helps to hide some of the information in the case that that's a concern. I've shown you how this functions in the classroom mode. Now what I'd like to do is to move into the corporate operation mode. It's a simple change. In the device edition, we change from education to corporate, and now at this point, instead of having one person who's in charge and acts as a moderator, the teacher, we have the ability to have sort of a free-for-all meeting where whoever chooses to show their screen goes up, or you can designate a moderator and they're in control of whose content is shown. In the corporate mode, we also have some different priorities. So for example, instead of previewing your screen, you have the ability to say, I'd like to show my screen when asked to be the moderator or when asked to show your screen. So you as the user have control as